Burglars of Reddit, what are the best ways to keep you out of my house? When we moved my sister to an apartment years ago, the landlord was out while we were sitting on a moving van full of stuff. Friendly neighbor walked by, saw us and offered to let us in. He took a thin flathead screwdriver and in the kitchen window used it to pry open the flimsy turn lock, climb in and unlock the house. He then told her to put a nail through the window to seal it against burglars, since the units all came with AC anyways. So, good guy burglar, I guess. Reminds me of the car thief I hired to break into my rental car when I left my keys in the car. Saw a group of sketchy looking guys sitting around smoking a joint and offered a guy $10 if he could get the door open without breaking anything. Took him about 10 seconds. Well spent $10. Lock your deadbolts. Can't tell you how easy it is to card a boot with the deadbolt unlocked. Might as well leave the door open. Yes, the knob just keeps the wind from opening the door. The deadbolt keeps people from opening the door. This used to be a TV show. I forget the name, but they had two ex-cons rob someone's house and then give that person tips on how they could be better protected. One time they had a cop volunteer to be robbed and he was shocked how easily the robbers stole his stuff. I believe it was called It Takes a Thief. I once was visiting a female friend of mine who lived in a bit of a crappy neighborhood. At the time I was working construction and swung by after work. I got to the house and took my size 12 work boots off and left them on the front porch. I tend to carry a pair of flip-flops in my bag and changed into those. Then we hit a patio for some sunshine beers. I ended up forgetting my boots at her place and was in no rush to get them back as I had another pair. Now I do not know how true this is, but she swears that having a pair of big work boots right by her front door made her safer. I had pretty much forgotten about them as they were on their way out, but she left them right where they were. She had less craziness happen in her front yard, less strangers knocking on her door, and she was not broken into again at that place. Of course, it could have been the smell. What about moats? Why is nobody mentioning moats? Don't post on Facebook that you are not home and how long you will be out. To elaborate on this, don't post vacation photos to social media until you are back home. I spent a year and a half in prison after being convicted of multiple residential burglaries. I was caught after a mailman called 911 after seeing me go through a window. I had a pretty good run of burglaries from 2007 to 2008. Here's how I picked my houses. 1. I would generally only go in the daytime during the week. The idea was for the adults to be at work and the kids at school. 2. I would try to find a corner house because it would have, at least, one side with no neighbors. 3. I went in middle class neighborhoods close to a community college. I live in a large US city and needed an excuse to be in my late 20s walking around with a backpack. I would stand out too much in wealthy neighborhoods, and poorer neighborhoods often have bars on windows because they expect to be robbed. Middle class people seem to be careless. I often went in through an unlocked back door. I would always go to the back or side because any fences would provide coverage. 4. People think a large dog would be a good deterrent, but I generally avoided those annoying small yapping dogs that never shut up. 5. I often went through a bedroom window, whether it was unlocked or not. I'm committing a major felony. I didn't care about a broken window. Things a homeowner can do, besides armed guards around the clock. 1. Get a dog that doesn't like strangers. I don't care if it's big or small or threatening or friendly. As soon as one dog barks, the whole neighborhood starts barking and announcing a burglar's presence. 2. Cameras, inside and out. I knew a guy who was caught because he walked by someone's webcam inside their house and ended up on the news. Make the cameras visible. If I see a camera, I'm not just moving on to the next house, but I'm going several streets away. 3. Lock back fence and restrict access to backyard. That's generally where I broke into the house from. 4. Beware of dog and security alarm signs and stickers are completely worthless. I once broke into a house though a doggy door. There was no dog home. 5. Try not to have any stools or anything in the backyard. They make climbing through windows easier. Life pro tip. If you're a burglar, talk to children. They'll tell you everything. Example. The other day we were at the store with my 5-year-old. A random woman smiles at her and says, "Hi, aren't you pretty? What's your name?" My daughter then proceeds to rattle off her full name. First, middle and last. her mommy and daddy's name, what city she lives in, the fact that her older sister just got a new TV and a Nintendo Wii U, and that she's so excited because we're all going to be taking a trip to visit our family in California next month. All in the space of about 30 seconds. She just had so much crap she was excited to share with her new friend she couldn't stop talking. Maybe she secretly hates all of you and knew exactly what she was doing. I did some thefting in my youth. I'll leave that at that. Keep in mind I was no mastermind when picking a house. Besides the obvious answers like a full mailbox and newspapers scattered about, I often picked houses by the stupid tricks people use when they go out of town. Leave the radio on, leave the TV, leave the lights on, etc. Tons of lights on, and an obnoxiously loud TV on in the living room at 2 AM on a Sunday night in an upper middle class neighborhood. LOLK. When I found a potential house I'd obnoxiously ring the doorbell then run away and watch for activity. After that, if I felt comfortable I'd try to gain entry. If it was too hard, every time I broke open a window or door I would run away again for a half hour or so and watch for activity, even if I had to do it in multiple steps. For example, break the window by the door, then run away and wait, come back and ajar the door, then run away again. I did this because of an irrational fear of silent alarms. Obviously if I saw any kind of activity or set off an active alarm I would leave. So you want to keep me out your house? Don't appear as a target. Full mailbox. Obstructed view of the house from streets. Don't make it easy for me. Have lots of deadbolts. Active alarms. Motion lights. Dogs, etc. I wouldn't frick with any of that crap. If I do get in your house, don't keep small valuables all about. I often did all my work off foot and stole money, jewelry, small electronics, etc. Have a safe basically. Hope that helps. Naked grandma. You're supposed to make your house less enticing. Place a sticker in the window that reads, "Premises protected by Radio Shack." That sign really says that you have nothing worth stealing. If anybody tried to steal my 8-track player I would try and knock them out with my VCR. And if that didn't work I would throw my Walkman at them. Seen a couple of these supposed experts saying your dog is useless. Wrong. If you have a little yappy dog that makes sense. My home was broken into several years ago during the middle of the day. I had a lab GSD mix. Like a lot of people would say nicest dog ever, would probably kiss you to death blah blah blah. I got a call from the cops because someone driving by called the police after seeing a bloody man in a ripped shirt running away from our front door. When I got home my front door area just inside the house had what looked like a little dried blood on the floor and door. The police said when they arrived the dog was just lying there staring at the door. The police said he barked as they arrived but quickly and easily calmed down. Nothing was taken and only a small table by the door where we put our keys and stuff was knocked over. Long story short, guy brought himself to the hospital and the cops picked him up as he was leaving. We didn't press charges for breaking in or anything, just let the police handle it and never actually saw the guy, but the police officer told us his cheek was totally torn from the side of his mouth toward his jawline. We figured pickles did enough justice and our lives would be easier to just move on. If you hear me rattling around your house, you should hide in a closet and jump out to scare me, rather than attack you. I would run like a baby that can run. 3 words, rooftop Korean snipers. Cover everything in mayonnaise. I mean everything, the bed, the surfaces, the dog, yourself, everything. Burglars hate mayonnaise. Nice try, mayonnaise loving home invader. Shotgun trip wire trap on every entrance. If you have a repair skill of 45, you should be fine. Keep your windows open. Burglars are extremely superstitious and believe that an open window is a sign of bad omen. Locking your door. Wouldn't believe the amount of people that don't lock their doors. Story. In college I was stupid. No excuse for my actions as the risk was much greater than the reward. I could have ruined my life going to a top 10 US university. A friend and I would sneak into the freshman dorms at 4-5 AM in the morning, literally open unlocked doors and loot whatever was laying out in the main room. The way the dorm was set up was a main room would connect to 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Electronics, Xbox, PS, laptops, bikes, TVs, we took a 50-inch TV from one room. Awkward as frick walking out of the dorm and a few blocks with that, textbooks, and basically anything we could grab. If you are a college student with a suite and a key, please lock your door as it is not worth the risk. Be safe everyone and don't let yourself be a target. Surround your house with outward-facing treadmills. Alarm signs are the biggest deterrent. I am going in through your front door. I am not going to check windows or creep into your backyard or any sketchy crap like that. The neighbors calling the cops is really the only danger. I dress nicely in a collared shirt and slacks. I am white and clean cut, fairly good looking, a bit like a police officer. I look for houses with the least viewpoints from the neighbors. Having an open front porch is your best defense. Park in your garage. Parking in front of the garage is a telltale that there is likely no other car moving in and out of the garage and the driver is likely at work. I can tell because of the discoloration. Pick up your newspapers. Stop your mail and newspaper if you are leaving town. If I pop the door and an alarm goes off, I will probably leave. Make friends with your neighbors so they know who should be at your house. Going in and someone being home is terrifying. I don't want to hurt anybody and I certainly don't want to get hurt. Also, the risk for getting caught just went from 3 years to 25. I will run screaming from the frailest old lady. Again, this isn't me anymore, but perhaps it gives you some insight. Stay safe. You've been visited by the sauce chihuahua. You will be blessed with good pasta, but only if you comment simmer well papa. Simmer well, papa. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.